Hello everybody, welcome back to Cooking Healthy with Chef Gilou. So, as usual, I'm just going to give it a few seconds, wait to see who's going to show up. But today, it's all about buckwheat, which is a funny story about this. Is buckwheat is actually the English name for my family name. So you probably all know me as Chef Gilou, but my name is actually Gilles Sarrazin. And so that means buckwheat. So my English name would be Gal Buckwheat. So this was a little story of my name. So buckwheat, where I come from, it's very big. So we make galette from it, which it's a crepe basically, very thin bread like this. So today I'm going to show you how to do the batter and how to cook it. So it's a very big tradition from where I'm from. There's basically a restaurant called Creperie that just do that. All they serve is galette. So the galette generally will be for a salty dish, and then the crepe would be more for like a sweet dessert. So when you go to a creperie, you will have one or two galette maybe, and then a crepe for dessert. So I'm going to get started. First with the before I get started, I wanted to show you. So that's what buckwheat look like. So this is buckwheat before being toasted. It's got like a greenish color. And then after, when it's been toasted, it looks brown. And this is that, you may have seen that in store, it's called kasha. So you can use that as a substitute for rice. You would have to boil it in water. And also it would be better to get it sprouted a bit, so then it's easier to digest, just like any grain. Also, you should know that buckwheat is not actually a wheat. It's a pseudo grain. So the plant is similar to rhubarb actually. So it basically is a seed from a flowering plant. That's what it is. So that's why it's actually a seed and not a wheat. And this is why quite often you will see that it's gluten-free, and that's probably because it's been processed in a gluten-free facility. So it's fairly easy to find the buckwheat flour. If you're from Canada, if you go to Buck Barn, that's where I found the best one, plus it's organic. And you will find two kinds of buckwheat flour. There'll be a light one and a dark one. And so what I like to do myself, because I find the dark one get too thick, and I find the light one doesn't have the taste I'm looking for in buckwheat. So I generally do half and half. I mix half of light buckwheat flour and half of like dark buckwheat flour, which is, give me that. So when you do a batter, quite often, so the recipe is very simple. All you need is one egg, 2 eggs. Make you mix the eggs with the flour, and it gets lumpy, and then you add the liquid. So I'm going to show you a trick that I use. Is always do the liquid part of the batter first. So I got my water there. If you want to write the recipe, it's this one. 250, but 2 eggs and water instead of milk. Okay, now I know there's quite a few of you out there who are vegan, so if you don't want to use eggs, you can use flaxseed, and I believe it's to do one vegan egg, you will use 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of water. You will mix your flaxseed on water and let it set for 5 minutes, and that will give the effect of an egg. When you combine everything, it helps to keep things together. So I put my egg in the water there. So I'm just doing half recipe because I already done the full recipe, because it's always better to keep it in the fridge for a few hours before you use it. You get a better result when you cook it. So a good pinch of salt. I'm going to mix my eggs and water together. So if you use flaxseed, then flaxseed and water. Give it a good stir. And now all I have to do is slowly pour this in my mixer. Slowly. You're gonna see, just keep stirring. Yeah, you can see that. I'm going to show you. So if you did the opposite, if you did your flour and try to mix your eggs together and then add the liquid, it will get all clumpy and you will have to stir forever until there's no more clump in your batter. So it's always better to either dry to the wet. So look, there's absolutely no clump. It's perfectly nice and smooth. That's the kind of consistency you want, like not too liquid, not too thick. So this is gonna go in the fridge now. Then I got my batter that I did earlier. Like I say, you want your batter to be refrigerated.
How long, an hour?
Yeah, at least an hour. So when you get your batter out of the fridge, you want to just give it a nice little stir. Make sure there's no settlement. So, because it's a tradition. So, also for people who are Wildfit graduate, so buckwheat will be something you do like in the fall. You can do a little bit in summer, a bit more in the fall. I do it maybe like one every 3 months. It's not something we eat every day. Buckwheat is very filling. It's pretty high on carbohydrate too. But if you miss bread and those kind of things, then it's quite satisfying. And buckwheat has a very rich flavor too that I love. So a lot of you probably don't have one of those. I'm going to put it down. You see me cook on this. So this is called a crêpière. So it's made specially to cook your crepe and galette on it. But if you don't have one of those, it's a bit of an investment. You can buy pans, well, flat like this. Maybe you've seen those pans before in store. So those are crepe pan. And then you will need a flat tool like this to script. So if you cook your galette in one of those, you will basically put the batter on it, and you will want to give make your batter just go all the way around. Let it cook a little bit, flip it. I'm going to show you the process on one of those flat things. Also, when making your galette, so what you want to do is make all your galette. So always have like a big tray like this and a cloth. Then I put, because the steam will come out of it, but it will avoid the galette from drying. So, since the crepe thing there, I cannot lift it up and move it around, I have one of those. It's like a little rake, and it's going to allow me to spray the batter. So, just use like a very light oil. So use like a very light olive oil, or if you're not vegetarian, a bit of duck fat, so lamb. You don't want a strong olive oil. Alright, so I hope you can see. I'm going to push it down a bit. So there it is. Put there. Put a good amount. Now this takes a little bit of practice, but the idea is just to go on like this and spread it. There. Now the difference with this And this, look at the size, so you make way bigger galette with it. Now if you use those, and you have 2 of those, or 3, and you have a stove with like 4 burners on it, then I mean, you can make more than once at a time, but they cook fairly fast. And I cook it at a medium heat, so that machine goes up to 8, I have it on 4, so that will be medium, I will say, on your stove. So there.
Someone's asking where they can purchase a rake. Kitchen supply store.
Any kitchen supply store. This came, I got mine, I will show you. I got mine from, if you're familiar with Costco, I got mine from Costco, and everything came with it, like the wooden spatula and the rake. So yeah, so you don't want to overcook it, because that is because when you're going to eat it, you're going to put it back on air, and then you see the edge there, it's going to start to dry. So this is cooked. So every time make sure you grease it a little bit. Sugar again. So you want to start in the center and slowly, and you don't want to apply any pressure at all. And you just keep going in a circle like this. But sometimes and then between each, you want to make sure you clean your rake, because whatever batter stick to it will then make a scratch like that one there. The kitchen supply store. Yeah. So does anyone watching, did you have galette before? You want to put in a comment? And where did you eat it? What did you have in it? I'm just curious to see if there's anybody familiar with galette at all. So now, traditionally in France, filling for galette will be with an egg in it, with ham and an egg in it, ham and cheese and an egg in it, or you can have like with mushroom, you can have with smoked salmon and creme fraiche, you can have with tomato and goat cheese. So a lot of those very traditional dishes, they're not very like Wildfit friendly, but if you do it rarely, that's okay. Today I'm going to give you different ideas of what you can put in a galette to keep it more on the Wildfit side of it. So that galette is ready. I'm just going to do one more.
Are you coming from Brittany in France?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, just like that. You start from the middle, slowly push on the edge. And if you make a little hole like I just did there, no biggie. That's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright. Galette, G-A-L-E-T-T-E. So one thing you can do, and so people from Brittany, we call them Breton, and so you can do the hot dog Breton, which means you find not a real hot dog, not those processed hot dog, but in Brittany what they will do is just put a bit of mustard and put a nice 100% pork sausages in it, and just roll it up like a hot dog. So that's one thing you can do. So you will of course your sausages will have to be pre-cooked. So you will get your sausages and then just roll it like that. That would be one way, but I have quite a few vegetarian and vegan that have been writing to me asking me for more vegetarian and vegan recipe. There. That will be your hot dog Breton. But today I made a little ratatouille, which I'm gonna warm up. So I did what I call a quick ratatouille. So for the vegan and vegetarian out there, if you do the batter without the eggs but the flaxseed head instead, and I do a quick 5-minute ratatouille. So what you do, you cook, you cut all your vegetable in a very tiny pieces, like this, like just tiny little cubes. So traditional ratatouille has eggplant in it. I really don't like eggplant, so I never use it. So in there I got, first I cook, and you want about the same portion except for the garlic, just maybe a couple garlic cloves and some thyme, that will be for the taste. And then I cube some pepper and onion. You cook that first, because you want to put your softer vegetable after. And then, so by that I mean, I got zucchini. So when my peppers and onion were nice and sweaty, I add my zucchini, stir it quickly, and then I add my diced tomato, which I used 2 tomatoes for that recipe, which I remove the skin and all the seed and all dice, and the tomato at the end. And I give you a nice little thing like that. So I'm gonna warm this up. So when you put a filling in your galette, there's many ways you can fold it. So let's say you're doing like ham and an egg. So you will want to put your, so always read one side. When the one side is hot, you flip it over. Then if you do, for example, ham and eggs, so you put your 2 pieces of ham on one side, and then you will want to put your egg white first. Reserve the yolk, unless you don't like the yolk runny, but let the white cook. Then you can put the yolk in the middle at the end, and then you will flip it. So you can just fold in half, or if you want just not too much filling, you will put on 1/4 and make it into like this, a triangle. And then today, so I got I'm going to show you one more way to do it. This is more for a nicer presentation. You can put a generous amount of ratatouille. So there, you just split it like that. Try to make a square. Okay, and you're going to use your spatula. You're going to come over like this. the one side. Oh. You can also see, then you want to fold the other side. You don't want to take, then you're going to fold that side. So maybe don't use your finger at home. I'm used to the Hit Me. It's something new. So that way people get to see what's inside. So that's one way. And then it come on my plate. And then to make it a bit more prettier, just add a bit more on top. It's kind of like the south of France meeting the north of France. We've got the ratatouille, which is typical from the south of France. And this is from the north. And then you could get, you know, a bit of fresh basil for fun. And there you have it. Nice galette with vegetarian filling. And like I say, in a batter there's eggs, but you can make it vegan by replacing the eggs with a flaxseed. 1 tablespoon, 1 soup spoon of flaxseed with 3 soup spoons of water that you mix, and that will replace your egg. So, what do you think of that? Would you eat that? So, no other filling you could do. Some of my favorite one, I like it with, if you cook some leeks, make them creamy, and then you cook some scallop on the side, so you would put your leeks just like that inside the galette, and then a few scallops on top of it. You don't want too many scallops, like maybe 3 or 4, because buckwheat is pretty heavy, and I find scallop very rich too. You could do it, put some shrimp already cooked in there, and then maybe top it with some cold avocado on top. You could roll it with asparagus. Like I said, the traditional one is ham and cheese and eggs. So that's. But if you don't do cheese anymore or you're vegan, you could try with plant-based cheese. I try those. I rather not eat cheese than eat plant-based cheese, to be honest. If I'm gonna have cheese, maybe rarely, like once in a while. I just don't do it as much anymore. I relate to them agree with me. Yeah, there's many. After it's up to you. Like it's the galette is just a vessel basically, and whatever you fancy you can put in there. I don't especially care with anything with chicken, but another vegetarian alternative is very good with sauté mushroom. If you saute your mushroom with some garlic and onion and some fresh parsley to give it a lot of taste, and you could like roll it or do the square like that too.
Sausage and caramelized onion with mushroom.
Yeah, my wife's saying one of her favorite is that's not vegetarian, but sausage with caramelized onion and a bit of mushroom. Mustard, sorry. That's one of her favorite. My favorite is what we call the complete, which is ham and cheese and egg. I don't do that, you know, I may do that once a year, knowing what cheese does to me.
Okay, you're at 25 minutes.
So we're at 25 minutes. We've got 5 minutes left. If you have any question, you can coucou Christian, coucou Alain. So is anyone any question? Yeah, I do like it also with smoked salmon. You can put smoked salmon with a bit of red onion, capers, and a little bit of lemon juice at the end. And also, of course, Like if you do Wildfit, you're in a fall and you want something sweet. I'm gonna give. It's good with a little drizzle of maple syrup on it, and it's always good with a bit of honey and a lemon zest. Okay. So they give you some dessert alternative. We're not too bad for you. Alright, well, thank you everyone for showing up today again. You may have seen in some of my previous posts, I posted some beer offering for that next year for the Wildfit 90 Days Challenge. The first one being in January. It's January 10, I believe, or 8. 10, I think. And then there will be one later on until the summer. Summer I will take a break and I will have a new date in September. If you want to know more about the Wildfit 90 Day Challenge, if you go in my bio, there's a link and it tells you everything about it. And after, if you want to book a phone call with me to talk further about it, to see if it's something real for you or not, then I'm willing to do that too. Yeah, so that's everything for today. Thank you again for showing up. Remember, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube also. We see you in a few weeks. Thanks again for following, and remember to share, please. Thank you. Bye.